everybody. How's it going? Right now, I'd like to talk about leverage. So, yeah, bringing in some of those ideas from engineering and physics and all that. And I kind of like the way that they play into philosophical concepts like change. If you understand a little bit about leverage and fulcrums, which is the idea that with leverage, you can take what you have and use it to obtain something newer and better. The idea of, the fulcrum is almost like a seesaw. And anyone knows that if you've been on a seesaw, there's a certain distance you both set as you're doing the seesaw. And of course, if one of y'all is a, larger kid, maybe you're the teenager and you're playing with your little cousin or whatever, as you move each other around on the length of the wood, you change how much leverage, you change how much you can push so that you can apply a little bit in a specific strategic point and make big changes. You can also use that to move like a boulder. If you can't push the boulder, you can use a stick, big enough stick, push it in the ground, have a rock down here and pull, and you can change your strength to more intense strength to move that boulder. What does it have to do with therapy? Well, a lot of times we're busy trying to push huge boulders. And I have to go, first, why are you trying to push the boulder? Two, where are you trying to push it to? What do you want to accomplish? A lot of times we get busy with things trying to make something happen without actually thinking through the consequences of what we want to push or change. Or we're trying to change something that really doesn't need to be changed. Give you an example. If I wake up in the morning and it's cold and I have to go out and go to work, several options. One, go outside and find a big enough heater that will heat all of the world, or at least heat the city that I'm in and change the temperature of my city. Sounds crazy. Or just simply put on more clothes, turn the heater on in my car or in my house or whatever it is to affect change in a little area. My comfort level will increase without having to do all that other stuff. Look around you. If you're upset with something around you, maybe instead of trying to change the world, work on changing yourself, improving how you handle it. If you wake up in the morning and the sun is bright coming through the windows, go close the shades. Or just get up, start your day. When it comes to the other things in your life, like trying to change the things that are around you, I have to ask first, why are you trying to change them? What is it you're trying to accomplish? What is your gain from making the changes? Now, this goes into some of the other things I've talked about, like, reflecting on yourself and finding out what your goal is. What is it you're getting out of doing the thing you're doing that helps you either change it or reason to keep doing it, or making a decision going, you know what, I like this so much, I don't want to change, even if it causes me this much pain. So when it comes to using what you have to make the changes in your world, if you make those changes on yourself, in other words, going inward instead of outward, if you're able to look at yourself and reflect and work inward, and I'll give you an example of how this works. Let's say you go to a place where it's very busy, loud and noisy, and that upsets you, and you have a hard time working and focusing because of all the noise. Several things can happen here. One, you can go to work and be mad and grumpy, scream and holler, yell at everybody to be quiet, tell everybody they're too noisy. You may accomplish something with that. You may not. I find a lot of people doing that and not accomplishing anything. They get mad, And then I always have to tease them and go, well, if your goal was to get mad and frustrated, congratulations, you made it there. On the flip side, if you're trying to just feel better about the situation in general, then earplugs, loops, headphones. The other thing that you can do is ask, why is it bothering you? Sometimes the noise is bothering you because you did something that physically makes the noise worse. You stayed up late last night. You had, what is it, too many martinis? You were doing things you shouldn't have been doing last night, or at least, maybe shouldn't have been doing. So the thing is you're feeling rough because you weren't taking care of yourself or doing what you need to do. So maybe you don't need to quieten the place down, and maybe you don't need to block the noise out. Maybe you just need to get to bed on time. The other option is literally learning how to deal with it and to relax and breathe and focus even with the noise in order to do your job. Notice how each of the solutions keeps getting more centric to yourself and how you handle it and how you do it. And that's anger, anxiety, depression. If I ask some people, why are they depressed? They'll give me a lot of outside reasons. I'm depressed because I don't like my work. I'm depressed because I don't have friends. I'm depressed because, I'm not enjoying life. I'm not getting the things I want out of life. Now, I said some, not all. There are some people that these things are more chemical. I get it. For those, though, that it is not chemical, and for those that it's an outside thing, maybe some reflection and maybe figuring out, is that what's really making you sad or anxious or angry? A lot of times people will identify a problem, but that's not the problem. The problem is something else. Eliminating one thing doesn't always make you happy. In fact, for some people, there is an intricate game of hiding the actual problem. Somebody might complain to me that their problem is, I never can get that promotion. And I feel like I'm treated unfairly at work. Okay, given. And then when I ask them what are they doing in order to get promoted, they'll say, well, it doesn't matter. No matter what I do, I'll never get promoted. So you're not changing how you work, changing your productivity, taking classes, learning how to do the things that you don't have, maybe even getting a job where you have a better chance of being promoted. And then, oh, I just give up. I just quit doing it. I immediately suspect when I see that revolves around, maybe you and me both know that if you got that promotion, you still wouldn't be happy, but then you wouldn't be able to use the idea that I didn't get promoted as why I'm not happy. Which means that if you did that, you got promoted, and that's not the reason, you'd have to dig a little deeper, and maybe we don't want to dig a little deeper, and that's okay. If that's what you want, just be honest with yourself and go, yes, I know what my problem is, and I don't want to admit it. I just want to be angry. Okay, be angry. That's cool. But don't get up and say I'm angry because of somebody else. And then once that somebody else goes away, well, now I got to go find somebody else to be angry at. I'm sorry. I do see that one quite a lot. Somebody will be angry about a situation or person, and that situation or person goes away, and then they have to go find someone else to be angry at. So, think about it. The other thing that I ask you to do is, when you self-reflect again, think about what minor changes you could make in yourself that make big changes in your world. What do I mean? If you take the time to go to the gym, or if you don't want to do the gym, go to the big worldwide gym, that thing called the outside. Walk around the block. And if you don't live in a place where you can walk around the block, go somewhere where you can walk around the block. And if you can't do that, you can always, put a video on and walk in your own living room. The point is, though, is the exercise and the fresh air and the outside does more than just make you a little healthier. It also connects you with an outside world, a bigger world, and it has huge effect on your levels of anxiety and depression. And for some people, it helps them deal more with their anger. So that little act causes big changes. And then what happens? As those little changes become big changes on the outside, take effect, you notice that more and more big changes. You want to go outside more. You want to do things more. You want to connect more. And you will. And as you do, you feel better. And you're a snowball gaining momentum going down that hill. So I very much encourage you to make those little changes in your life that make big changes in how you see and perceive your world and what happens to you. Look at it like you're moving that big boulder with just a little bitty stick and a little bitty rock. Or in some cases, looking and go, does the boulder need to be moved? I often look at people and they go, oh, these are my problems and I can't accomplish something. And when I go, why can't you? Well, this thing's in my way. And, here's this thing. And I'm like, okay, they show me this, thing in front of them. And I go, well, what's stopping you from going around this thing? Like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, well, yeah, this thing is blocking your path. But if you walk 2 foot off the edge of the path, you could bypass it and go on with your life. And then I will hear excuses like, well, I shouldn't have to go around it. It should move for me. It's not fair that I have to do that. We didn't ask fair. We just asked, what do you want to accomplish? That being said, if you want it bad enough, you'll find a way around it, or through it, or under it, or over it. Or you'll stand there and scream and holler at it. Or as I tell my clients who get mad about my reference to the sunlight, I'm like, so you're going to go outside in the front yard and stand there and shake your fist and scream at the sun and tell it to go back down, that you're not ready to get up this morning. See where that gets you. Put your sunshades on. Life is better. Okay? So think about that. Leverage. How you can move things and how little changes in you make big changes in your world. And how some changes don't even need to occur, and you're focusing on changing something that you don't need to focus because you're not wanting to redirect, reflect, and focus on what you do need to focus on. Think about it. Y'all have a great day, and I hope you enjoyed that. I'll talk to you later. Namaste.